my new favorite genre is horror comedies. That's my new favorite genre. Off the top of my head, The Blackening, Ready or Not, obviously, Happy Death Day. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Hey guys, welcome to The Real Movie Lovers, a video podcast about real filmmakers having real conversations about real life. Topics include movies, TV, tech news, current events, and more. I'm your host, Lisa, filling in for me and my co-host who's on a hiatus, and we are diving into some awesome news and topics this week. Normally, this is where I talk about what I've watched lately, but it's been a crazy week. Like crazy busy. I have not had an opportunity to watch anything. All I've done is seen all the things that I want to watch. Now, what I'm going to watch later on is The Wood. That's a from the 90s? Yeah, 90s coming of age film starring Taye Diggs and a bunch of other awesome actors. I'm going to be a guest on the Was a Good Though podcast. So we're going to be talking about that. So look out for that. But other than that, your girl is bone dry on things that I should have watched but did not watch. So with that being said, I'm going to try to watch more things for next week's episode. I'd like to try to watch Companion. I heard Mickey 17 came out with Robert Pattinson. I've been hearing good things about it. So we'll see if I make it to the theater. Anyway, let's check out our first topic. Omar Epps, Wiz Khalifa, Quavo, and Chukwudi Iwuji to star in Moses the Black with Curtis 50 Cent Jackson aboard as exec producer. Apologies for the pronunciation of the name. I'm not sure where to even hit that name. And Chidoba Editor, his name is hard for me to say too. Okay, so basically, there is a new movie coming out. It's a gangland drama. Moses the Black. If Curtis Jackson III is producing or is a part of it, it's definitely some kind of, like gang related type of thing or drug related story. Those are kind of the things that he kind of goes for. And he does a good job with them. So this is a story about a gangster, in modern day Chicago, inspired by the repentant story of the 5th century saint of the same name. Ah, I see. Moses. So, let my people go, Moses? That Moses? Epps plays Chicago gang leader and lead character Malik, with Khalifa as 203 Rec. Theory? That's a really odd way to spell a name. 2WO-3RE? Okay. The confident and volatile leader of Malik's young crew. Ooh, okay. Already, you see the dynamics there, okay? You've got your seasoned veteran leader, Epps, and then you got the, young, quick energy, possibly hothead, volatile leader of a young crew. Young boys getting into some big trouble. Quavo plays Straw, Malik's arch nemesis. The title character, Saint Moses the Black, is played by Iwuji. Okay. So, first, this was written and directed by Yelena Popovic, who did Man of God, which was this movie that was based on a true story of about a slandered, without cause, and convicted unjustly saint who bears the unjust hatred of his enemies while preaching goodwill to all. This happened in 1891 or something. So I think it's involving the Catholic Church or something. I have not seen that. Man of God. I've not seen that. Khalifa is executive producing through his Taylor Gang Films. Okay, that's an interesting name. While Epps is also serving as an executive producer through his production company, Brooklyn Works Films. Okay, so you got Curtis Jackson III, 50 Cent. He's a producer. Khalifa's a producer. Epps is a producer. There's a lot of I think passion going into this. A lot of sowing of the seeds. They're coming together. So former I Am Global Executive Potter and writer, director, producer Povic recently launched Simeon Faith, an equity film fund based on financing and producing. So the fund is backed by a network of cinephiles and investors, including some other family names, through the Nick Mercopoulos Cinematic Fund. Moses the Black is the first film scheduled to go into production for the fund. Now, there have been actually a couple of equity film fund type companies coming out where they're allowing the investors and the audience to kind of help direct the direction of what they're focusing on or trying to get traction for. Like, every film is funded by something. But I feel like these are more independent companies who aren't really relying on the big major studios. You know, the Warner Brothers, the Disneys, what studios are left? Fox is gone. My brain's the Lion Gate. What is another? I think Angel Studios. Yeah, Angel Studios is another studio company where they are funded by crowdfunding. But not only are they reaching out to people to help crowdfunds, they allow the audience to choose what they want to fund next. So they list out the projects, I think, and what what they're about, and the audience gets to choose. We want you to focus on this next. We want to put our money towards this. So it's really a group effort for real. This works a little different, I think, but this is very interesting, and I think we're going to see more of these if we haven't already. Just based on the trajectory of how things are going and how the big major studios, Hollywood's kind of losing its like ironclad grip, how technology is making it easier for small, lesser known filmmakers to come on the scene. Streaming has had, I feel like, a love-hate relationship with indie filmmaking, because on the one hand, as an indie filmmaker, you have a better chance of getting your work on an indie film, right? I'm sorry, on a streaming service. But the accessibility of all of streaming, I feel like, has kind of shifted away from theaters and made it also a little bit more challenging for indie filmmakers. I think it's kind of like, it feels like it's been a catch-22 type of thing. And like I said, the way Hollywood is going, the way it's just not as prominent. You're starting to see other places kind of rise up in the wake of that, with more original, better made stories. Hollywood's always been a business, but it feels like there is less emphasis on quality and more on how much money can we make. I feel like that's why, like, K-dramas are really they've always been popular, but I feel like they've grown in popularity. People are branching out, looking for other cinema done elsewhere. Oh, you know who does horror like so well? It's the Japanese. Oh my gosh. Like, just think about the things that were brought over, like Ringu, The Ring. Oh, and then there was this one, I gotta find it. There was this one movie, I think it was like an anthology or something. It was 3 different horrific tales, and one of them just like sits with me. Like, this lady, she was worried about like looking older and getting older, and she wanted to remain young, looking for her husband. So she sought out this lady that can help you look young, and this lady fed her these like strange looking wontons, and she ate them, and she started looking really nice. And then you find out what the wontons are made out of, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. If I find it, I'll link it here or throw up a little picture. 50 Cent says, I'm excited to be part of Moses the Black as an executive producer. Collaborating with great talent ensures we're bringing authentic and compelling stories to the screen. Yelena's vision for this film is sure to create a hit. So let me just tell you that musically, 50 was pretty successful. As he's gone into different facets of media, I feel like he's really started to branch out even more. So those that know or don't know, he's got Power series. He did a bunch of things, actually. Hold on. Yeah, he's the creator and executive producer behind the Power universe. It's a universe now. Okay, it started with Power. Yeah, it started with Power with Ghost and Tommy and some very key memorable characters. That show had a grip on me and my husband. It was so popular that it spawned more iterations of it. So there was like, what were all the powers? There was a bunch of powers. Yeah, you had Power Book 3, Raising Cain, Power Book 4, Force, Power Book 2, Ghost, where you're following his son. I wasn't as invested in the spin-offs of the Power series. And then, of course, BMF, the Black Mafia family, and Hip Hop Homicides. That one I don't know about. The staggering number of unsolved murders in the hip hop community in an attempt to uncover details of what really happened. Oh, is this the one where he's executive producer? Yep, this is the one. Okay. Interesting. I hadn't even heard of this show. But that's what I'm talking about. He stays within this realm, but it's important that someone shines a light on this realm. And with respect to the subject matter, I think that somebody who's lived through it, somebody who's familiar with it, should be the one covering it. Then you've got Khalifa, who's a rap artist, Grammy nominee, well known for his collaboration with Charlie Puth on See You Again. Oh my gosh, that song. To this day, that song puts me in tears, which was a tribute to actor Paul Walker. Oh, when Paul Walker died, that song, in that last Fast and Furious 7, that last little bit where him and Vin Diesel are driving and he's looking over and then the road splits. See you again. Oh my gosh. Tears. Literal tears. They should have stopped there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Suicide Squad. Right, he did the song for Suicide Squad. Yes. So you have that. Then you have the rapper Quavo, known as a member of the hip-hop group Migos, has made appearances in the movie Praise This in Atlanta. He's also featured in Blackish and voiced a character in Star Trek. And then Nigerian Brit explains his name. Chukwudi Iwuji. He's a stage and screen actor, and he was the High Evolutionary, okay, in Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. He did a really good job. He was so unhinged. It was so fun. Oh, he was in Peacemaker, the HBO series. I haven't seen that yet. And he was in John Wick Chapter 2. I have to rewatch that. I don't remember him being in there. So this is your lineup. And of course, Omar Epps. Okay. Omar Epps, who's been acting forever, as far as I'm concerned. Way back in his Juice roots. So these are the guys who are going to be playing in the movie Moses the Black. Now I want to see the correlation, as far as the allegory of what they're going to be saying between Moses the Black. You're taking the name Moses, and from what I understand, the Let My People Go Moses, and you're putting it into this modern day setting of, I guess, the streets of gangs and all that kind of stuff. And perhaps the High Revolutionary actor is trying to bring some levity, some knowledge, some wisdom, trying to break them free of the mindset. I'm just speculating here. I have no idea. But I'm curious. I like everyone involved. 50 definitely puts out good work. Epps, come on. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, guys. But Moses the Black does sound interesting. Does sound good. So I'm interested. I'm here for it. I like everyone involved. Feels like people who kind of care about the source material are going to treat it with care, and they have something to say. So I'm very curious about what it is they need to say. How about you guys? Yay, nay? How you feeling? Let me know. Next up, We got a sequel on our hands, guys. Happy Death Day 3, differences from first two movies revealed by original director. I know that I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm kind of surprised a little bit that there's talks of a Happy Death Day 3. I enjoyed the first two. The first one obviously is like the best. The second one, they went a little bit of a different direction, but it came out good. Still came out good. So basically with Happy Death Day, this girl who is a bit shallow, you'll find she's a bit much. It's her birthday and she gets murdered. But wakes up the next day. So she keeps reliving the same day over and over again, her birthday, and getting murdered. And she keeps trying to figure out who's killing her. She's any changes she makes, the killer seems to find her. So she spends the whole time figuring that out, while also having a character arc of her own. So by the end, she's not the same spoiled, self-centered person she was in the beginning. It's fun. It's very fun. Director Christopher Landon reveals how the third film will be different. So Happy Death Day, the first one, was released in 2017 and became a box office hit. How much of a hit do you ask? I'm going to tell you. It had a budget of just $4.8 million. And it grossed $125 million worldwide. That's way more than 2.5 times the budget. Because these days, you need 2.5 times the budget just to make it even. So, what would that have been for that? 10? Oh, yeah. They went way over. Way over. So, a sequel makes so much sense. Which they did do. The sequel, Happy Death Day to You, which came out 2019, earned $64.6 million worldwide. So, it was like half the profit of the first one, and I have no idea what the budget was for the second one, so I don't know how much more they increased the budget and got, diminishing returns. Let me see. Oh, that's not too bad. So the sequel, which I thought was 2019, says 2018, the budget was $9 million. So they went from $4.8 million to $9 million budget. And it made $64 million worldwide. So that's still pretty good. That's still very, very good. It made like what? A little over, like about 7 times its budget. That's pretty good. See what happens when you keep the budget low? Do you see what happens when you keep the budget low? Take note, studios. Take note. Landon revealed that he has spoken to franchise star Roth about a third movie and that it will not be set on the same day or in the same loop as the other two movies in the franchise. So a completely different direction. Okay. He discussed how he pitched the third movie to Universal a long time ago, and it would focus on the same characters. It would also bring an entirely different genre to the franchise. So the first one was more quirky and funny, and it definitely brought in that Groundhog Day feel from the Bill Murray movie. Repeating the same day over and over again. Fun. Nice little movie. Then the sequel, they leaned harder into the science fiction aspect of things because it involved, I don't want to say time travel, because technically the loop is time, but it involved a multiverse. You heard me. They brought in a multiverse for the sequel of Happy Death Day. The thing is, it still did, for what they were looking for, it still did pretty good. So I'm a little surprised that they never tried to do a third one sooner. Because even though it cost double the first one to make and it made half as much as the first one, it was still profitable. It's been a long time since I've seen part 2. I know it went off the rails a little bit, but it was still fun. The Happy Death Day movies are offbeat and quirky and blend multiple different genres. Yeah. They're like this. They're very fun, unique slasher films. I remember when I first watched Happy Death Day, I was like, yes. The perfect. Okay. I've talked about my favorite genre. So when I was a kid, my favorite genre was horror movies. I got a little older, my favorite genre became romantic comedies. Now, I watched almost anything. I enjoyed everything. Action, sci-fi, enjoyed all of it. But what's going to get my attention faster was like those two genres. Basically, my new favorite genre is horror comedies. That's my new favorite genre. Off the top of my head, The Blackening, Ready or Not, obviously, Happy Death Day. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Cabin in the Woods, which I feel like Cabin in the Woods set a lot of things in motion. I guess you could also kind of call Scream. But yeah, The Menu. Oh yeah, like horror comedies are my bag. Oh my gosh, how could I have forgotten Killer Clowns from Outer Space? It's in the name. It's literally in the name. Which, by the way, I don't want them to remake. But if there was a way for them to kind of make a soft sequel or soft reboot, I could be down for that. Especially considering what they did with Candyman. How it was like both a soft-ish reboot / sequel. They found a way to make it its own and connect it to the first one, which is great. If they could do that, I would totally be down. Oh my gosh, Ghoulies. Listen, the 80s had some funny horror comedies. Okay, you know what? I said Kevin Woods kicked it off, but horror comedies, they've been around for a long time, and I've been a lover of them for a long time. I just didn't realize. Here's the thing, though. There's all this talk. However, Universal hasn't made the move to start making it happen, which I don't like the sound of that. Now, the director, Christopher Landon, seems pretty hopeful that's going to happen, but he definitely alludes to the fact that the ball is definitely in Universal's ball court. Happy Death Day 3 could be one of the most exciting and engaging movies in the franchise. Happy Death Day 3, Universal, get off your butt kiss and start making it happen, okay? You're already working within this monster universe or whatever you're trying to do. Let's go. Come on. I need my trilogy. Happy Death Day. Make it happen. All right, guys. Now we come to that segment. That segment that I had to create because there's so many of them happening all the time. Let's check out our remake, reboot, news of the week. Iconic Stephen King story getting new adaptation at Netflix after 80s movie changed its dark ending. They're going to remake Cujo. Cujo is the story of a lovable, friendly Saint Bernard who I believe gets rabies from a bat or something. And it drives the dog crazy. And he starts going around being a menace and killing people. And ends up trapping a mother and her son at the gas station. The reason they got trapped there is because Mama Dukes waited till the last minute to get some gas. She was on EE. Okay, she literally drove up to the gas station, and the car was like, "Okay, I need gas. I cannot go further." It was a wild movie. They were literally trapped in there because Saint Bernard. This has like a small town. This from memory. Okay, I watched this when I was a kid. Don't recommend. I watched a lot of scary movies as a kid. I probably shouldn't have, but I turned out okay. Ish. Anyway, so from what I remember, they were trapped there. The Cujo had already gone and murdered the guy who ran the gas station because it was just like a small town. This isn't like some big city New York living. It's like a small town, isolated, and that dog had them trapped. They were literally in the hot car. Because anytime they tried to get out, the dog was there, about to get them. I remember one time, her son, maybe he was 8 in the movie, I think. He had to pee. So they opened the door a little bit and let him pee. It was crazy. I don't remember, I think, anything else about the movie. But that it's funny how the things that stick with you stick with you. This isn't the first Stephen King adaptation that's been remade. So everyone knows it because it was back in the 90s. There's a TV show based on his book It that came out. Look, a little miniseries, and then they released a 2-part movie, chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever, back in 2017. That was a huge hit. That was a well done remake. That's how you do a remake. Then it went into Doctor Sleep, which I still haven't seen because it was a sequel to The Shining, but it got such mixed reviews. I never really read the book Doctor Sleep, so I kind of wanted to read the book before I watched the movie. I just never got around to it. So is it worth it for me to kind of check it out? Okay, so there's been The Shining, obviously. There's The Shining. There's Misery. Now that I think I got halfway through the book. I never finished it, but I watched the Kathy Bates movie. It was good. Stand By Me, Green Mile, and The Shawshank Redemption. Those are all Stephen King movies. I mean, Stephen King adapted material. So, Stephen King's chilling 1981 novel Cujo, which I've never read, but now I want to read it, is set to receive a fresh adaptation on Netflix. That's the thing. Netflix is doing this? Do I have faith in Netflix to do this? What are the horror? You know what? It's horror. And Netflix kind of been pretty good on the horror train, if memory serves me correctly. The story centers around, a once friendly St. Bernard. Yep, named Cujo. Listen, that movie forever solidified the name Cujo as fierce. So fierce that when years ago we had 2 Rottweilers at one time. One was named Bella and one was named Cujo. Cujo grew up to be a beast. Lovable, friendly beast. But we had to, get rid of him. Not because of any danger, but we were moving to a place. There wasn't a lot of room moving around for him. So it was too tight. Okay, here it says they find themselves trapped in a malfunctioning car. But from my memory, the car didn't have gas. So that movie, the 1983 movie of Cujo, it deviated from Stephen King's original ending. They gave it a more happier ending. Netflix has secured a deal to transform King's best-selling horror novel into a new feature film. Here's the thing. The movie came out in 1983. So it is 40-something years later where they're working on a remake. Okay, it's been a considerable amount of time. What and how are you going to bring the new remake into now? Because 1983... small town, no cell phones, none of that, less people. Are you adopting it as is? Are you setting it in 1980 or 1970s as like it was set before? Or are you trying to bring it modern? Are you adapting it exactly how it was written? Are you going to keep Stephen King's ending? Because they alluded to the fact that they're probably going to keep Stephen King's ending, which I won't say because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. But it's not as happy. Spoiler alert for that. The 1983 movie adapted most of Stephen King's material. So it was mostly aligned with the book. They just changed a couple of things. It's got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 60% critic and 46% audience. Again, you know how I feel about Rotten Tomatoes. Take it or leave it. So they are probably looking to make this ending more ruthless. Should we watch the first one before we watch the remake? Because the It remake worked, but not all of his remakes are working. Like when they went and remade Pet Sematary, that didn't do well. I didn't even bother to watch it, okay? Because Pet Sematary on its own is already like a weird movie to me. Where it's kind of like, you bury them in this strange Indian burial ground, but they don't come back the same. They come back off. Okay, cool. Let's bury them in this Indian burial ground. Oh no, they're off and trying to kill me. Duh. I think the movie The Monkey that's coming out, I think that's one of Stephen King's, or at least his son, short story. Let's see how many are there. Stephen King movie remakes. That's right. They remade Carrie. It was alright. They remade Firestarter. I didn't see the first one. They remade Salem's Lot. Did they remake Christine? I don't think they did. They don't need to. They don't need to. They don't need to remake Misery. Don't need to make it. Maximum Overdrive. That's the movie that I think Stephen King directed himself, about some kind of alien tech getting into all of our technology and making like all of our appliances and vehicles come to life, and cars were killing people. It was very interesting. So basically, I feel like it has been the only successful Stephen King adaptation movie remake. I don't think any of the other ones have been successful or well received. So they're going to have to really get their heels into this one and kind of really hit it well. Here's my other thing, my other gripe. From what I remember, the Stephen King Cujo used a real dog. There's probably some animatronics and puppeteering happening with certain scenes, but it was all... I don't want a CGI freaking dog. I don't. I know there are going to be some CGI moments that need to happen, but I don't want a CGI dog the whole time. Like, it's going to take me out. It's going to take me out. I'd rather you use puppets. Go back to old school. Real dogs and puppets. Do that. I'm going to hold my initial thoughts until I see a trailer. And again, to be fair, I have not seen Cujo since I was a kid. So I only remember that one little scene. I'll tell you this much. Cujo is the reason why I try not to be on E. I only need to get stuck at a gas station where a dog murdered the owner and I can't get in there or get my gas. I'm stuck in the car. A hot car. I live in South Florida. You could literally die within a couple hours, okay? Especially if it's summer or even fall. We only get a reprieve during like winter and early spring. After that, the air is literally trying to choke you. Constantly. Okay. Are you guys checking this out? Are you guys familiar with Cujo? Let me know. All right. Our current event for this week. Southwest is getting rid of its most recognizable perk. And what would that be? Free checked luggage. Damn. Months after ditching its open seating policy, Southwest Airlines is ending its most recognizable perk. The airline will begin charging for the first and second checked bags beginning on May 28th. Now, members of its A-list loyalty program, they'll be exempt from the fees. So, the CEO, Bob Jordan, says, we have tremendous opportunity to meet current and future customer needs, attract new customer segments we don't compete for today, and return to the levels of profitability that both we and our shareholders expect. There it is. Shareholders. Always the stinking shareholders. Southwest has always offered free checked bags since they started 60 years ago. And they kept the policy going even though their competitors started adding and increasing their fees. This I know. Looking at you, Spirit Airlines. They even had a trademark slogan, bags fly free, which I remember. I remember that one. It's been a key part of the advertising. However, there's been a shift. The CEO told investors like last year on a call, like, we have no plans to start charging for the bags being checked. We're going to keep that going. That was 2024. 2025 is different. You go and run me my paper. What started changing this is the fact that Southwest, they will start selling tickets through third-party websites like Kayak, Google Flights. And it showed that customers were choosing price regardless of Southwest's generous policies. So it's like, okay, I could either take Southwest and have my free checked bags on a $300 airplane ticket, or I could do Spirit for $100 and spend an extra $60. I don't know if that's exactly the price difference, but they were going more for what was lower, what cost less, versus, oh, I don't have to pay for check bags. Now, they haven't let anybody know how much it's going to cost for these check bags. They're keeping that hush-hush right now. I guess they're still trying to work out what that looks like. But my question is, if people are already choosing flights that cost less and yours costs more, but you offer free check bags, but now you don't offer free check bags, now I got to pay more and pay for check bags? Maybe I'm missing something. Are they going to be bringing their ticket prices down to be more competitive? That was happening. Regardless of the price, it's going to boost their money because Southwest has 2 to 3 times as many check bags as other airlines. 2 to 3 times more. That's probably because people are flying with you because they have get their bags checked for free. If you take away that incentive and you're not competitive on any other realm, they're going to leave. Despite not charging for the first 2 check bags, Southwest collected $73 million in baggage fees in 2023 and $62 million in the first 9 months of 2024. So I guess people who had like 3 and 4 bags to check. The first 2 are free. The next 2 you have to pay for. And can I just say that I was so used to check bags costing money that I did not even know that Southwest had a policy of free check bags. Wish I knew. Now, here is the disparity in that pricing. So Southwest, they made about $73 million in 2023 and $62 million in the first 3 quarters of 2024, right? Check this out. The other airlines, okay, they made, oh my gosh, because they collect for checked bags, okay? American Airlines collected $1.4 billion in 2023 worth of checked bag money costs. United Airlines pulled in $1.2 billion and Delta Airlines $985 million. Now, think about that versus Southwest Airlines, $62 million. That's a big disparity. So it's a wonder that they're like, we want a piece of that change. We want some of that money now, too. So United Airlines CEO, Scott Kirby, he's already saying, oh, okay, this is going to work out for us because they're going to remove that checked bag, free check bag policy, and customers are going to start coming over to us now and other airlines because we still have competitive ticketing pricing. Because the one thing that set Southwest apart was the free check bags. One thing my sister has mastered is packing everything into one carry-on. Whether she's going for a few days or 6 days, she manages to pack everything in one carry-on. How? What sorcery is this? So this doesn't really affect her either way. Other hallmarks that Southwest has changed include its cabin. Assigned seating will soon be introduced. Okay, I also didn't know that they didn't have assigned seating. I didn't know that it was an open seat policy. Like, like back in the day, oh man, movie theaters, you had to get there if you wanted a good seat. Now, not so much. You have assigned seating, I get there when I get there. The change will also help the company charge some passengers more for their tickets. The open seating. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. Because, okay. So open seating is like, okay, we all pay the same price and we just gather. But premium seating, I paid more for this specific seat, which again, other airlines have already instituted this. They already have this policy. Southwest is now going to add this policy. So they're making all these changes. And I'm not saying it's going to like be bad for them because other airlines are doing it. But now it's like, why would I fly with you now? My incentive to fly with you has changed and shifted now. You are like everybody else. So now I'm definitely going to be looking even harder at the bargain deals. Not just that, but they're also going to start selling basic economy fares in May, which are low price tickets that have tons of restrictions. Isn't that what Spirit does? And JetBlue? I kept saying Spirit, but I was thinking JetBlue actually. Last month, Southwest cut 15% of their corporate workforce, which basically 1,750 people lost their jobs. The first mass layoffs in the company's history. 60 years in business, and this is the first mass layoff in their entire history. The layoffs are going to save the company $210 million this year and $300 million in 2026. But you're also going to start charging for checked bags now. So wouldn't you have made that money hand over fist? Why'd you have to fire all these people? Spoiler alert, shareholders. So Southwest's previous chief financial officer and chief administration officer are going to retire from their positions in April. So there's also a changing of the guard, which makes sense for the changing of the policies. I don't know, guys. Like, I just don't know if, well, let me not say that. I mean, they have all these perks and incentives, and I guess they're still losing customers to United, to JetBlue, to Spirit. I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to keep their pricing. Well, now they're offering basic economy fares, so you have to pay more. Like, my favorite airline to fly when I was younger was Delta. They were the bomb. But flying just isn't that fun anymore. They've removed all the fun aspects of flying. Does anybody fly Southwest? Have I ever flown Southwest? I've done Delta. I've done United. I think I've done American Airlines. I've done JetBlue. I've done Spirit. Have I done Southwest? I can't remember. Does this affect you at all? I know you're not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out for them because they're late to the game of all the other things that the other airlines are doing. So I'm not sure if they have the competitive edge that they think they're going to have. But we'll see. And finally, our tech story of the week. Celebrity AI deepfakes are flooding the internet. Hollywood is pushing Congress to fight back. I was going to do a story about these cute, realistic-looking AI puppies made, I think, in Germany, because I've been seeing advertisements every year. But then this came across my page, and I thought, yeah, we might as well keep hating on AI. Steve Harvey he's the host of Family Feud and a comedian and all that kind of stuff. He's become a popular target of AI-generated memes, many of which are humorous and seemingly harmless. But more sinister things have happened. You've got people using AI-generated versions of Harvey's image, voice, and likeness for scams. True. And I say this because you know how like you're watching YouTube and like an ad will come on. And it's somebody pushing something or some kind of crap or some kind of government assistance program, things like that. So I saw one where the voiceover was Steve Harvey. And I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. You lying. Ain't no way. So that confirms what I suspected. That wasn't, I mean, obviously I knew it wasn't Steve Harvey. For real. Why would he be voicing a random supposedly government assisted program on the internet during a YouTube video? But it's not just him. You got Taylor Swift, Joe Rogan, whose voices were mimicked by AI and used to promote a scam that promised people government-funded funds. See? Government-provided funds. See, I'm telling you. They're out there, guys. Be careful. Tell me if this sounds familiar. I've been telling you guys for months to claim this free $6,400. Yeah. I've definitely heard some variation of that. And if you've been on YouTube, I'm pretty sure you guys have too. Now, Steve Harvey is speaking up. He's advocating for legislation and penalties for the people behind these scams and the platforms hosting them. Now, it says Congress seems to be taking this serious. Are you? It's considering several pieces of legislation aiming to penalize those behind nefarious uses of AI, including an updated version of the No Fakes Act. Didn't know that there was an original version of the No Fakes Act, but I'm glad it exists. It aims to hold creators and platforms liable for unauthorized AI-generated images, videos, and sound. Yes, please. Yes, because the thing I was thinking about was like, well, wait a minute. I'm hearing Steve Harvey, and others in this scam of the YouTube ad, but it's a YouTube ad. Like, YouTube may not have created the ad, but it's on their platform. You mean to tell me you guys don't know what's happening? Yes, you do. In 2025, Steve Harvey says that scams using his likeness are at an all-time high. That makes sense, because think about this. Steve Harvey, as a figure, he's beloved. He's funny. He's got the whole Family Feud thing on lock, which it's families, it's regular people, everyday people who come on trying to win money with their family and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a good time. So that is a voice that you want to take to lull people into a false sense of trust. I see why they chose him. Major recording artists, actors, and other celebrities have been caught up in AI scandals over the last 2 years as the technology rapidly evolves. Oh, snap. Did y'all hear about this story? This woman in France, she lost $850,000 after scammers used AI-generated images of Brad Pitt to con her and to think she was helping the actor. So basically, this Brad Pitt AI convinced her, I need help, I need money. This poor lady. It's Brad Pitt, ma'am. It's Brad Pitt. But maybe if it was a C-list actor who was big back in the day, not even then. So I know people get on this lady and I'm like, how could you be so dumb? But let's give a little grace here. People get caught up. People get manipulated. They get scammed. And I don't know like her mental facilities. I'm not saying that she's off or anything, but there are people who are more gullible. People who are on spectrums, whether they're on different sides of it or a little bit of it, that socially or analytically, they don't have the wherewithal to kind of see something for what it is. I have no idea whether this is the case for her or not, or she just was gullible enough to fall for this, but I'm going to hold judgment. But $850,000 though? Nah, Brad Pitt would have to come to my door for that. Nah. Nah. I'll send you money for a plane ticket. How about that? And you come fly. No, not even that. I can't. I just can't. Y'all remember when, I think it was last year, the whole thing came out with Scarlett Johansson, where they had basically imitated her voice and used it for an AI product. And she called them out on it. And then they were like, oh no. But then they approached her and they were like, well, do you want to be the voice? And it definitely was linked to the fact that she was the voice of the AI in Her. Really great movie. But she's got a very soothing, sultry voice. Friendly, relatable. I'm pretty sure she won and they had to change up her voice completely. But they're going to test the boundaries. They're going to do it. They've already started doing it. Johansson is actually quoted as saying there is a 1,000-foot wave coming regarding AI that several progressive countries, not including the United States, have responded to in a responsible manner. So other countries are starting to kind of make moves to prohibit prohibit the recklessness of AI, but we have not. Steve Harvey says it is terrifying that the U.S. government is paralyzed when it comes to passing legislation that protects all of its citizens against the imminent dangers of AI. Harvey has said it's freedom of speech. It's not freedom of make me speak the way you want me to speak. That's not freedom. That's abuse. Correct. I'm going to have to agree, sir. I'm going to have to agree. So before senators even reintroduce the No Fakes Act, the update, they are looking to get support from online platforms because those platforms will be penalized. The current bill fines platforms $5,000 for each violation. So, a viral AI creation could quickly add up to millions of dollars in fines. Oh, wow. Okay. So each violation. Oh, wow. Okay. So what they're saying is if there's a viral video of Shania Twain or something, and it was AI, are they telling me that every view or every day counts as $5,000? Because that would be some change for real. We're not going to make any changes unless the folks that we're doing this bill for, the folks in the creative industries, are okay with it. A person familiar with the bill told CNN, we're not going to sell them off to try to get the platforms on board. Okay. So you want the platforms to agree with the bill. You want them to be like, oh yeah, definitely penalize me for allowing AI content on my platform. That's what you're waiting for? I don't know if you're going to get that cosign. Critics of the bill, which include public advocacy organizations like Public Knowledge, Center for Democracy and Technology, American Library Association, and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, worry the bill as written introduces too much regulation. They warned it could endanger First Amendment rights and enable misinformation while resulting in a torrent of lawsuits. You're always going to have a rough go of things when you're introducing new legislation and laying out rules, because it's always going to be exceptions to a rule, but that rule still needs to be in place. But as Congress goes through the motions, AI continues to evolve. And celebrities say they feel they are limited in how they can pursue imitators using their likeness, especially anonymous online accounts, because it is very easy to just create an online anonymous account and wreck some stuff. There's a new company, Vermilio AI. This company has partnered with major talent agencies and movie studios. It uses a platform called Trace ID that tracks AI instances of their clients and automates the normally cumbersome takedown requests. Okay, so back in 2018, there were maybe 19,000 pieces of deepfake content. Today, there are roughly 1 million created every minute. Holy for holies. The company's technology uses a type of fingerprinting to distinguish authentic content from AI-generated material. That involves crawling the web for images that have been tampered with using large language models, LLMs, which are the building blocks of many popular generative AI services. Now, celebrities can afford a service like Vermilio, but for other creators, there are fewer resources. Yeah, everybody ain't Brad Pitt, despite what that lady thinks. He's got money. He can afford to pay for this service. But a creator who's got not as much money, it's going to be harder for them to kind of combat that. And for those of you who are thinking, it's celebrities, who cares? You know, it won't be long before it starts coming down the pipeline to us. Think about the damage that an ex could do to you. Take your likeness, put out videos saying you said things you never said, did things you never did. This should be dealt with now. I know that celebrities get a bad rap for being generally like shallow, self-involved, out of touch. But AI is coming for everyone. It's starting with them because they're the forefront, but it's not going to end with them. So the sooner we get stuff going and protections now, the better. I mean, again, Pandora's box has been opened. The best thing we can do now is figure out how to navigate that. Let me know what you guys think about this story. It's crazy. It's crazy. Jeez. All right. Leave a comment. How you feeling? Again, it may not affect you today, but it could affect you tomorrow. All right, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you again to my awesome Patreon members, Thelma and Vonker. I love you guys. Appreciate your support. For anyone else looking to help me grow this community, head on over to my Patreon. Check it out. I've got different tiers, different perks and bonuses, and we're doing some different things over there. And it's open play right now. So whatever you're looking for from me, I got you. All right. Have fun, enjoy yourself, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.